Hey guys, I'm coming to you today from my patio because this week we've been working on a project where we are repainting our patio cover. And the thing about projects is that it's never quite as easy as just popping open a can of paint and starting to paint the patio cover. No, this patio cover has been out in the weather for quite some time. So it has some cracking and some splitting. There's a couple boards that need to be replaced. There's some scraping that needs to be done. And so in order for me to get ready to do this project, there's some preparation that needs to happen. I have to pull out my ladder because I'm vertically challenged. I'm just not that tall. I have to put on protective eyewear because I wear contacts, and when I start to sand, things get in my eyes, especially when it's above my head. If it's sunny outside, I have to put on sunscreen because I burn. I have to plug in my sander and get an extension cord because, you know, a normal length cord isn't long enough. There's just so many things to do, and on top of it, with my level of OCD, I can't just say like, this is what I'm gonna wear. I have to wear clothes that can get dirty. I have to put my water close to the door of the house so that I'm not tracking sawdust all the way through the house. I mean, there's just stuff to prepare. There are steps that I have to take in order to be ready to do that project. Well, the reality is that's true about so many things in our lives. We pack to go on vacation. I'm never without food, even when I go to the grocery store. To be honest, I have something in my purse just in case I need a snack. We pack our backpacks when we leave for school or for work. We get ready for a presentation and we do some preparation. I mean, all sorts of things require preparation on our part. And the question that I want to ask you today is, are you ready? Have you done the preparatory work to be the church? So I want us to look at a passage today that talks about being ready, or how we're ready. It's a passage that is found in 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 15 and 16, and it's in the context, Peter's talking to a persecuted and scattered church, that they're living with people around them that are hostile, that don't believe in Jesus, and they don't really have very many people that they can gather with. And this is what he says to them in 1 Peter 3, verses 15 and 16. But in your hearts, revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. But do it with gentleness and respect, keeping a clear conscience, so that those who speak maliciously against your good behavior in Christ may be ashamed of their slander. And the reality is that Peter tells us a few important things if we are going to be ready to share the hope we have. First, he says, put Jesus first. Put your hope in Christ. And it's really important that Jesus is first for us for a lot of reasons. Now, we've talked about this a ton this year. We started off the year with Monica sharing with us from John 15, asking us, like, Jesus, we're putting Jesus above what? Jesus above fill in the blank. And then we talked about Gideon and how putting Jesus first really helped us overcome idolatry and really helped us overcome fear. Then we talked about putting Jesus first in order to live an upside down life that he calls us to, that's biblical and in keeping with what his kingdom looks like. I mean, really putting Jesus first is the key to what it means to making him Lord of our lives. He doesn't want to be in any other place. And thankfully, he pursues us gently and faithfully and persistently until we do put him first, again and again and again and again. But Peter has a reason for saying this. He's going to give us instruction that only works if Jesus is first. So the second thing he tells us is always be prepared to share hope. Well, it's spiritual preparation that requires a little bit of work on your part. I think you have to process through these questions. Who, what, and how? Who is Jesus to you? Who is he to you? What would you say to someone? What has he done for you, or why do you serve him? What has he done for you? And how can someone else trust him? Now, I've included a link in this bio that'll come up in the corner, to a couple other videos that might be helpful to you to figure out ways to share your faith that are easy to remember. But the reality is it's not a script. This comes out it comes out of a living, changing, growing relationship. When Jesus is part of our lives on a regular basis, he's always doing something for us, always reminding us of something, always teaching us more of his truth, and how discipleship is really a journey of learning to trust him more every day. And that is a hard thing, and we learn things, and then we have things to share with other people because of that ongoing relationship. It's not a script, but being prepared to give a reason is something that we have to be prepared for. So I had a friend in high school, well, she's still my friend, named Bryn, who, when she was in high school and college, she used to go buy thrift store Bibles, and she would keep 4 to 5 in her back seat, so that when she met someone who started asking questions, she said, I didn't always have the right words, but at least I have the word of truth to leave with them. I have truth to leave with them, and I'm going to be able to hand it to them right then. And that's a way that she was prepared. So the third thing that Peter tells us is to keep a clear conscience. That really the way we talk to people about our faith, the way that we're prepared, the way that we share, should be with gentleness and respect. And that it should be proven by our attitude of good works and service to other people. That really the way that we live out our lives for the Lord, the attitudes that we live life with, are what prove who he is, and keep them from accusation or saying foolish things about us. There's an example of this in Acts 13:49 through 52 that I think is important for us to recognize. Jesus references it to his disciples too. And basically what happens is the disciples experience a ton of persecution for sharing their faith. They're just sharing the hope of Jesus. And when they encounter people who don't want to listen, they do exactly what Jesus tells them to do. He says, shake the dust off your feet and walk away. Basically, he says, have thick skin, share with hope and gentleness and respect. And if they say, I want none of that, just say, that's okay, and move on. Don't take it personally. Don't get angry. I mean, it's okay for you to be frustrated, but just move on to someone who's ready to hear, who's eager, who's hungry. There's a lot of people that I'm sure you know who are hungry for hope, hungry for joy, hungry for something that satisfies them more than the life that they're living. So my question today is, are you ready to share the hope of Jesus with them? Are you ready? So there's 2 ways you can respond to today. The first question is Jesus first in your heart and life? If not, what needs to move out of the way so that he can be first? It's an important question. Second question is, are you ready to share the hope you have? And what step do you need to take today to be ready? I'm praying for you. I miss you. I love you. And most of all, I want to see you, even though you're scattered, even though you're doing your own thing, even though we can't gather together right now. I believe that we can be growing in our faith, trusting Jesus more every day, and that he has good things for you when we pursue him.